There are parts of the project that are certainly super buoyant and bright and fun and happy, and then there are parts of it that are like really delving into the sort of all those like darker emotions, like loneliness and rage and you know.
I think it's going to be like one of the most unique 24 hours of my life, like and for all of us that are kind of making it happen. I can never stop dancing unless somebody becomes the primary dancer, like takes on my role. It's a kind of 24 hours with a lot of potential. So I'm Freya McGrath, and I'm the primary dancer and the creator of the 24-Hour Dance Project.
And I'm Harriet Wallace-Mead. I am the producer of the 24-Hour Dance Project. And Freya covered it all. You got it.
The 24-Hour Dance Project is a immersive, participatory dance extravaganza. I was inspired to do this project because I did this class at university, Performance in the World, where we kind of looked at performance artists and artists who'd done endurance works, so like Marina Abramovich and Tae-Shin Shea, and it was really interesting, and I thought I was sort of thinking about whether I could do an endurance performance art work. It's really interesting because I think those artists feel so strongly and are so sort of deeply committed with their whole being. And when I was thinking about if I could do something like that, at first sort of jokingly I was thinking like, oh, I could do an endurance dance work. There was a student art festival, Mudfest, at the University of Melbourne, and which Harriet was one of the artistic directors of. And the provocation was, how do we respond to an increasingly frightening world? And I thought, oh, this works perfectly. Like, I think my response to a frightening world is dance and like committing 100% to something. But the idea is I have to keep dancing unless someone takes my place. But for my kind of safety, we have a stage manager who's going to like make sure that I eat and drink water and that sort of thing. But it's not a healthy exercise. It's not a thing that you know, I have been training and I've sort of been building up my fitness gradually, and I've been doing a lot of like just dancing for ages to get into that sort of headspace and add more and more time so I can kind of gradually get closer to the 24-hour duration.
Obviously I saw the 12-hour project last year. Like, I've sat down and talked about what kind of aspirations there might be for the project the second time around, and how it could grow, and what is interesting at the heart of it that we wanted to explore further. And so, being Freya's housemate as well, there have been a lot of kind of chats around this kitchen island at the end of a night where especially early on in the process, we'd like get home from a party and they'd be like, oh, but I was thinking about this, and what if we do that? So yeah, one of the big shifts is that with 24-hour we've really structured it. So as much as, you know, it's not like we've structured every single second, but each hour has a theme, and so it means that we will have real markers of how we're moving through time. When we first got the butcher's paper out and wrote 9 a.m, 10 a.m, 11 a.m, 12 p.m, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We were just like, wow, this is a really long time.
Another kind of part of the original inspiration was like classic 80s dance films, like Billy Elliot or Flashdance. And I sort of felt that in those films there's this like theme of dance as defiance. Like, it's not... it's a hugely joyful experience, but then there's also something like political in the act of
and urgent.
It's like you need to use your whole body to express yourself. The project has a kind of a narrative arc, so we have all these different kind of themed sections, and some of them are really like we've got like an 80s and 90s noughties section, and then some of them are more kind of abstract. So you don't have to kind of dance. You can kind of just move and just follow your instincts, whatever they are. The narrative arc gives it this kind of epic feeling of like, we're going to go from this feeling to this feeling, and we're going to
go on a journey.
We're going to go on a journey together. Yeah, it's sort of been another moment in my life where I've kind of reevaluated my relationship to my body and my image, but like quite a positive one, in that I'm using my body and using my image for a project of self-empowerment, but also like empowerment in a way that's bigger than me, and that's part of an artwork that I'm making, which is really like very special. Dancing for 24 hours, taking up space as a queer woman for 24 hours is quite a radical thing to do, and it's radical for me for my personal reasons, and it's gonna be quite significant for other people. And also, I'm not like a particularly talented dancer. I'm just
You're
like,
alright.
I'm alright. I'm just enthusiastic and have a lot of like willpower associated with dance.
I can also attest to the fact that like I've seen Freya teach dancers and kind of just engage on the dance floor, and one of the things that makes me have so much faith in this project is that just Freya's way of being and dancing. You're gonna go so red, but it's very like encouraging and inclusive. The way I think that you do that, it never feels intimidating or exclusive or like, look how good I am, you can't touch this. It's like, look how much fun I'm having, come have fun with me. And I think that's why as well, really early on, we were like interested in this idea of the project being an inhibition liberator machine, because we wanted it to be like, no matter how afraid you might feel of this right now, we promise you're going to feel good. I mean, there's nothing in the project that says that you have to come in and dance. You don't have to take over as the primary dancer to be a participant. You can literally just walk into the box and watch.
I'm not sure how it's going to be. I think there will be these moments, particularly at the kind of midnight to 9 a.m. period, that are just going to be really strange and but like amazing and memorable. And I think there'll definitely be points where I'll be like just so tired and just kind of barely holding myself up. I think that's great. Like, I think it's important to have those moments where it's just kind of commitment.
We're partnering with a whole bunch of Melbourne Fringe shows and getting them to come in and do like excerpts or just dance for a bit or do whatever as a way of sort of having some surefire people to take over for a little bit. So that are also about like opening up and exposing how deeply you feel about these things, and sort of just like allowing yourself to have those sort of really big feelings quite publicly. Like there's such a vulnerability to that. There's a certain radical act in feeling really strongly.
Part of it as well is just creating a space or creating 24 hours where people can kind of break away from the way that their bodies and their selves operate in a day-to-day context, to stop going through the motions and to just like let loose and liberate your inhibitions and feel deeply, whatever that is, whether it's kind of extreme joy or like real rawness and vulnerability.
And also, I mean, there's the whole thing about being able to do that safely as well. And so part of it as well is about like being like, we see you, we love you. Sometimes when you're feeling that frustration, part of the frustration can be about not being able to express yourself and say the words that you wish you could say, or be like, fuck you, I'm here and you can't squash me. But you can express so much of that through your movement. In such a kind of cathartic way as well, I think.
It's interesting that you bring up the anger section, the rage section. That's like really about, that really ties into the like Dancer's Defiance idea because it's about like it's that section is about expressing your frustration. I hope that the project is a space for everyone to celebrate whatever their engagement with dance is. And sometimes it's like really sort of small and intimate, and sometimes it's really big and performative. So I'm really glad that we've been able to create an opportunity like that. And the 24-hour dance project, that's taking place on the 29th to the 30th of September at Testing Grounds. I also worry that people are gonna, like, if I'm at a party and I'm like, oh no, I'm a bit tired, I'm
They'll be like,
like, are you kidding? No, you can dance for 24 hours. So,
Yeah, definitely setting yourself up.
yeah.
Also, should we be looking at the camera or?
Yeah.
You can look at me, like, because it will be more natural.
Yeah,
and
cool.
it's up to you. But
My eyes keep like looking to the camera and I'm like, no, get away.